We are here this week, week 3 of Kings College football with Monarch head coach Jeff Knarr. Coach, thanks for joining us again today.
Thanks for having me.
This week, the Monarchs travel to Madison, New Jersey to face the Devils of FDU-Florham. But before we get to that game, let's talk a little bit about last week's game where the Monarchs fell to 25th ranked Widener 41-6. Going into that game, it was well documented that Widener had 19 offensive and defensive starters back, including an all-conference quarterback from a year ago. Your team got off to a good start, causing 2 early turnovers, coming away with 6 points. Talk about the early stages of that game and the momentum that the team was able to build.
We were very pleased with how we started the game, and that was one of the things we challenged our guys on was to we respect every opponent, but you don't fear anyone, and be willing to take the fight to who we play. And then our kids came out and they went right after Widener. They didn't back down, and they played hard and aggressive and physical, and we made some things happen defensively, which created opportunities for our offense. We capitalized on one of the opportunities and bounced the field goal off the upright on the other. So early on, we came out and took the fight to Widener, and we were pleased to see that.
You led 6-0 after the first quarter, but in the second quarter, Widener scored 20 points. It all seemed to kind of start the team losing its momentum after a bad punt, which set up Widener's first score.
Give them a short field is not good, and then working on the punting aspect of things, and we did get a great punt off, and we gave them a short field. And then they capitalized, and then we kind of, as a young team, Widener ratcheted up to a gear that we're not there yet, and then we got a little frazzled and lost our poise for that second quarter. And then they were able to put 3 scores on us from there. And the thing we were pleased about, though, is then we kind of regained our composure, took a deep breath, and then went back to battle and played pretty solid from then on out. But we kind of opened the door a little too wide in that second quarter.
In the second half, it just seemed like your team tried to fight hard, but it was just a matter of, at some point, Widener's size and experience seeming to just wear you down a little bit.
They did. I mean, the wind was howling, so you can only throw the ball one way. They were able, they defensively they felt that they were bigger and stronger than we were up front, and I think that they are, and so they said we're not going to run it, you're going to have to throw it, and they were able to kind of push us around and wear us around a little bit, and then we missed some opportunities and some things from there, but again the kids they kept competing and battling, and our quarterback was making plays with his feet and making plays with his arm with the receivers there, and guys were we were doing some things, we moved the ball, then we'd have we'd lose yards on a play here and there and put ourselves in some long situations.
Despite the loss to a much more experienced, nationally ranked squad, what were the positives you were able to take away from the game?
That our kids played hard, for 60 minutes. I mean, they competed, took the fight to them and gained some early, the early advantage and the momentum from there, and then continued to battle, throughout the game. Despite that, they were wearing on us and leaning on us a little bit on both sides. We kept battling. We were really pleased with our young secondary, and that they contested like every deep ball that Widener tried to throw. So we were pleased with the fight and the effort, and we just have to continue to work hard and improve the execution.
Moving on to this week's game, on Friday night, the Monarchs traveled to Madison, New Jersey to play Fairleigh Dickinson University in your team's lone night game of the year. Is there any difference in your preparation with one less day of practice, not to mention getting ready to play under the lights?
Yeah, it shortens the week a little bit. The kids have a little less recovery time. Everything gets moved up a little bit. So Sunday, it was kind of it's still like the meeting, the film day. Monday is the kids' off day. That becomes Tuesday as far as football goes. So that's a work day and a practice day, and so the preparation and recovery from the previous game, getting ready for next week's game, gets shortened from there. But we still have plenty of time to get our 2 full work days in, and today's really Thursday for us, and then tomorrow's the pregame, and then we go play, and then the kids will have that Saturday off, so they get the rest at the back end, and they're excited about playing under the lights. That's the neat thing when you get to play a night game, and most of these kids grow up, high schools now are all under the lights, and there's a different atmosphere, from a night game, so the kids are excited and looking forward to the challenge Friday.
Coach, while most of the MAC opened the season 2 weeks ago, FDU did not open until last Friday and dropped a 45-28 decision to the College of New Jersey in a game that seemed to change momentum-wise after a lightning delay. FDU was leading 21-14 with 1:06 left in the first half when Lightning forced a delay of over an hour. When the teams came out of the locker room, FDU lost its momentum, and TCNJ wound up outscoring the Devils 31-7 the rest of the way. What do you think about a situation like that? How does a team prepare when you've got momentum and then all of a sudden the momentum is stopped by an unexpected weather delay?
I mean, you know, if you know the weather's going to be an issue, we were concerned, you know, this past Saturday, you know, if the weather was going to be an issue. I mean, I think it's an advantage at home because you have your locker room, living room to spread out with the guys. You know, you just try to keep them focused and calm and relaxed, and, you know, quietly kind of go over, you know, what you're going to do schematically wise, and then you got to, you know, the thing you got to do is, you know, they had all the momentum, their kids are fired up. You got to try to get them to, you know, relax and calm down and not be keyed up because you don't know how long you're going to be, you know, in the locker room. FDU
played quite well offensively in the game, amassing 446 yards of total offense, including 342 yards of passing. Their quarterback, Mike Santos, completed 23 of 42 passes with 3 touchdowns. Talk about Santos and what he brings to the table.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little guy, but he's quick, he's athletic. You know, they hit a lot of quick passes. I mean, he catches the ball and he gets it out of his hand really fast. So he's hard to put pressure on, and he put the ball on the target, and he took a couple advantage of big plays and, you know, a couple short passes, and there are guys, the receivers did a really nice job blocking, and you know, they have some fast, athletic, you know, receivers and skill guys, you know, that got a little bit of a seam, and then they were able to convert some short passes into some big games. So it was you know, a quick throwing offense that can have big strike, big play capabilities.
The Devils also have a freshman running back in Craig Kimbrough, who had a super first game as an all-purpose back. He rushed for 74 yards on 16 carries and also caught 7 passes for 108 yards. He's a little guy, only about 5'5", 5'6", 155 pounds. So talk about him.
You know, little guys, I mean, you know, you can't hurt him if you can't catch them. That's those kind of things. And that's what he does. He's got good speed, good vision, so he's never taken a full shot. You know, he's able to make people miss. And you know, FDU did a really nice job of using him in their read and spread schemes running the ball, and then they got him, you know, heavily involved in the pass game. So we have to be accountable for him, you know, not only getting the ball handed off, but where is he when they're throwing the football, because he's obviously a prime target for them.
Coach Serace has employed a little bit of a different offense that the Devils have used in the past. They seem to be more of a spread team than they've been more of a power eye team in the past. So talk about what they philosophically try to do on offense.
Yeah, they're you know, spread, and you could tell the difference from last year to this year. You know, they're able to, you know, throw the ball more. Their passing game, I think, is at a different level. The confidence that the kids have running their offense, you can see it, you know, just after that one game, as opposed to the 8 games that we had saw last year. You know, they just have a huge understanding of what, you know, they're trying to do with their spread, and they, for the most part, executed, you know, very well, you know, last Friday in their opener.
The FDU defense allowed over 500 yards to TCNJ in the first half, but the majority of it was in the second half after that lightning break. They gave up 30 points in the second half. We all know traditionally the Devil defense is very physical, very hard-hitting. What do you see from reviewing their game film?
Yeah, I saw, you know, a lot of the same as you just mentioned there. I mean, they're, you know, the one safety, you know, 41, he had a great game against us last year, and he seemed to be around the ball constantly, you know, on Friday night against TCNJ. You know, they ran to the ball well. They seem to have, you know, more confidence, better understanding what they're doing scheme-wise. You know, like last year when we watched film, it seemed like there was, you know, some coverage, you know, miscues there, and on Friday night, I mean, they seem to be in the right place, you know, trying to do the right things that they're being called for. And, you know, TCNJ, I think, you know, just warmed down a little bit. They had some, you know, they were a little bit bigger than, and took advantage of that size and warmed down as the game went on. But they were a sounder defense. They still run to the football. They're very, very aggressive and want to be physical.
Coach, what does your team have to do to be successful on both sides of the ball in this game?
You know, offensively, we need to have that balance. You know, we got to be able to, you know, get the running game going. You know, be precise in our passing game, and not, you know, self-destruct and put ourselves in bad situations. Defensively, you know, we have to be able to, you know, contest the throws. They're going to put the ball up in the air. You know, we got to make sure we contest and cover those receivers tight, because they don't need a whole lot of room with their quick strike passing, and the ball's going to be out of his hands. So we got to be, you know, covering, not hovering, and then we got to be able to control the run game and control that tailback and that neutralize him and not make him a dual threat that he was last Friday. Kind of make him, you know, keep him under wraps and under control.
Coach, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for your time, and good luck to the Monarchs this weekend.
Thank you.